Me, Pearl from Pearl and the Prayers, and this is Tuned in Tarot. And we're here to take a look at the balance between the divine masculine and the divine feminine inside of self, understanding that whatever state we find this energy in, we can expect to see that reflected back to us in our interactions with others, in our external environment. And if we do want to see change, we need to shift and change the energy within. And hopefully my readings help you to do that. We are doing the general week ahead reading. I have used the Island Time Wellness cards and the Dreaming Way Lenormand Tarot today so that I can give you specifics on love and money in this reading, in addition to just the general energy of the week. I also have a Rumi card to start us off with, but before we get there, I just wanted to ask you to please go to whatever streaming music service you use. YouTube, Apple Music, Amazon, Spotify, whatever. Look up Pearl and the Prayers. Make sure you use an ampersand for Pearl and the Prayers, and go and stream all 3 songs that are available there. But my newest song, I don't know if you've heard, was just released a few weeks ago. And I would be really honored if you would listen to it and comment below on what you think of it. I will put the people who comment about my music into a drawing, and the people who make videos on Instagram or TikTok using the sound, I don't know if you've heard, on both of those platforms, you will be entered into a drawing. You can have multiple entries, and I will draw probably, I'm going to say, let's say the first week of August. I'll do the first drawing, and I will gift you a free session, a free 60 to 90 minute intuitive guidance call. If you win. If you're interested in just booking a session right now and not waiting to win a session, just know that when you book currently, you do receive 2 sessions for the price of 1. So you have the option to book a second intuitive guidance call within 30 days of your first call, so that you can have 2 sessions in a month free of charge. So take advantage of that. There's also a yes or no option and a video recorded reading. Both of those readings are just video recorded. You ask me the question, I send you the answer. And those are great if you want to be able to replay them. It's pretty helpful to use that style of reading if you're somebody that like forgets what we talked about and you want to go back and look at it again. Okay, so the message for today from Rumi is, your love has broken every link. You draw my wayward soul to the harbor of the soul in you. And what this is telling me is that there is someone in your life who has realized that the way that you have shown love has helped them to break these chains or bonds they've had. And for everybody, it's going to be different. You know, for some people it's addiction. For some people it's toxic family relationships. You know, for others it's low self-esteem, self-doubt, whatever it is. But your love, the way that you have loved in your life, the way that you love yourself, the way that you love others, it actually has helped this other person to heal from their bondage. And they're saying that you draw their soul to the harbor of the soul in you. And the way that this is worded in the card, the first soul is not capitalized and the second one is, and that's showing me that there is this feeling that within you they see this greater, higher consciousness being expressed, like source, I guess we'll call it. And your love and the way that you have loved them has drawn that part of themselves that felt kind of lost towards this higher purpose or higher calling. 11:55 when I'm saying that on the clock. And I had to record this intro a couple times, so I think it's very significant that when I just finished looking at that message, it was 11:55. Okay. Let us begin. So do know that the energy of the masculine is the energy of the mind, the intellect, taking the internal world and making it material, so the material world. The energy of the feminine is the heart, the emotions, creativity. If you are in a situation where you're in a connection with a person and you are attributing only masculine energy to them, just know that that's actually not accurate. Every person is both a combination of feminine and masculine. You may lean into one side of yourself or the other at any given moment, and it has nothing at all to do with gender. So don't misconstrue masculine with gender. It would be great if in our culture, instead of saying masculine and feminine, we used the Sanskrit Shiva and Shakti, because that's actually more accurate. But for whatever reason, we decide to call that masculine and feminine, I guess because we were really obsessed with the gender binary, but it has nothing to do with gender. So erase that from your mind. This is going to give you information about another person in your life just as much as it is going to give you information about yourself. And if you approach my readings like that, instead of just getting the tea on like what's going on with somebody and actually understanding why you would be attracting somebody that has that tea, you will really benefit so much from these readings. Okay. I don't drink coffee much anymore, and I had cold brew today, so I'm very fired up. Okay. We have the overall energy for the masculine of this week is the Six of Swords. This is showing me travel, movement, going from a place of discomfort to a place of comfort, but not doing it in an avoidant way or a way where they're running or abandoning something, because they've actually learned the lessons in this case. The lessons being these swords here, painful lessons. They have realized that the way that they did things didn't work effectively, hurt themselves, hurt others around them. And so they're moving away from that into a much more calm, nervous system regulated kind of an energy, a peaceful time in their lives. So, but they're doing this in a way where they're just very aware of the past and aware of the wounds that they've carried and how they may have wounded others. So that's generally where this masculine energy is this week. Going places, and when you go somewhere with having learned, you're not going to repeat the same cycles in this new place. And so I do see that general energy. I am going to be doing specific love and money messages, like I said, so we'll get more specific once we get into the meat of the reading. This is just the overall energy of the week. So we've got masculine energy, traveling, learning from the past, choosing to do things that are going to create calm and peace rather than create more Sturm und Drang, as the Germans say. The feminine energy, we have the Two of Pentacles here. So this is somebody that is really weighing out things in their lives, trying to prioritize, trying to like balance. If you've been overly focused on relationship or connection, you're going to focus more on the material. If you've been too focused on material, you're going to focus more on relationships. So the feminine energy is doing this little balancing act of like trying to give equal weight, equal measure to those important things in their life, trying to prioritize more than one thing at a time. Because I do see this as having like a lot of things to kind of, a lot of juggling, a lot of balls in the air. I'm seeing like somebody that's got like a ton of different things, but it's understanding that if you put too much focus, like if you decide you're going to give yourself some rest and you rest, and ignore everything else, and you just kind of feed into that resting energy, eventually all the other things are going to start to overwhelm you. And then you're going to have to swing in the opposite direction. Then you're going to get overwhelmed by dealing with all of the stuff that kind of built up when you were resting too much. So this is just really, really getting into more of a balance this week. This is also about choices and change. You're choosing to prioritize something else that you have not been prioritizing because you're changing the way that you're behaving. If you do not feel compelled to change this week, you may be resisting the energy, because this energy is really all about changing. It's about moving from where you were to where you want to be, understanding that the pain from the past is the bridge that helps you to travel in this new direction. That's the general energy. Overall, what's underlying this energy? For the masculine, we have the Six of Cups. This is how I know there is definitely this feeling here of nostalgia and having learned from the past, not wanting to repeat the past, wanting to have a much more pleasant experience. I do think there is a little bit of childish fantasy in there, kind of like a Disney thing, saving the princess, being saved by a prince, that kind of stuff. There's a little bit of that that's underlying this wanting to travel. I feel if things have gotten pretty chaotic, or if they were chaotic in the past, there is this feeling of just going home. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. I was talking to Luna yesterday, and she said she kept seeing Wizard of Oz stuff. And I was like, oh, maybe Judy Garland is trying to come in for you as a guide. But also there was that, we had this conversation about there's no place like home. And so that's coming back to me from this nostalgia card. Divine Feminine, underlying the Divine Feminine's energy, we have the energy of the Hermit this week. This is the energy of looking within and following that guiding light. I've been doing this a lot the last few days. I keep closing my eyes and just saying, you know, please guide me in the direction I'm meant to go. Because I feel a little bit lost at sea here, which is another feeling that the Six of Swords may imply. A little bit of being kind of on the water, sort of traveling, and not having like firm ground beneath your feet. And so Divine Feminine is going within to establish that firm ground. What's the opposite of being completely immersed in the water? There you are in the desert here. But I do think that the Hermit energy is something the feminine embraces now in a way that she didn't in the past. I do think that in the past, when we saw the Hermit card, personally, I felt resistance to this. Like, I would think to myself, how long am I going to be alone? Why am I always having to be alone? There was a lot of like resentment, angst over that. And now I actually see this as a very comforting energy, which is like, I can retreat, I can go within. I have that peace and calm there that the mind is seeking externally. I can always find it within. And I also think that that's probably representing kind of what the change is going to be for the feminine this week. If the masculine energy is coming forward, wanting to reunite there with the Six of Cups, the feminine energy is having to weigh out maybe how much growth she's had in this Hermit energy, how powerful, how beneficial it has been, and kind of making a decision to come out of Hermit energy and change that this week is something that you are going to be contemplating. I don't know if you're going to be doing it, but you're definitely going to be contemplating it. All right, let's get into the nitty gritty. So we have a card for love and for money, and we're going to look at those as soon as we finish just the general energy. So you can see how the general energy will inform the surface energy, because the love and money cards are basically surface energy, where the deeper energy is here. In the masculine, we have the Queen of Swords and the Two of Wands. And this was interesting because when I was shuffling, I meant to have one card for each position, but the masculine just kept spitting cards onto the same position, and I felt compelled to keep them. And actually the feminine energy did that too on her first draw. So I think there is a certain amount of overthinking and overfeeling going on in the past. Overthinking definitely here with the Queen of Swords energy, and the Two of Wands, which is an energy of restlessness that causes you to try to keep planning and strategizing, and you have all these ideas and you're trying to implement them, but the truth of the Two of Wands is that you've already chosen a path. Right here it is. You can see the path right here. You've already chosen it, and you're already traveling along this path, and there isn't a way for you to kind of to circumvent this road unless you get off the path and travel in a new direction. And this masculine energy, I think, has been really trying to get around this. There's no way around this. The Two of Wands is you have a moment where what do I want to say? You like intersect with somebody, you cross paths with somebody, maybe that's a good way of saying it. Your instant reaction, especially because this is happening on a deep soul level with the Two of Wands, which can represent soulmate energy, soul connections, and soul journeys, soul contracts, you have almost an irresistible urge to continue down this path. Even though you may try to come up with many ways of avoiding it, many ways of stopping it, blocking it, overthinking it. It's like I know what my calling is, and I'll constantly be like, please guide me to my calling. And the universe is like, are you fucking serious? I already told you. You just have to continue along this path, and there's ups and there's downs on the path, and it's not comfortable. You can't, the thing is, discomfort is what causes you to keep seeking, right? In order to get to that state of rest, it takes energy to get there, and there's fear here of this journey. So the masculine energy has chosen a path in the past, and then been really afraid of that path, and tried to use his mind to deal with the emotions that come up on the path instead of tuning into his heart and feeling the emotions. That's been a real issue that is coming from last week, and not just from last week, but it's coming from the past and it's being brought into this week. Overthinking this journey. And also a concern that there is somebody that is going to stand in the way and block his progress. A fear of a feminine energy, harsh, critical, judgmental, severe, calculating, manipulative, that will block this forward progress that we see coming here from the Six of Swords. The feminine energy is bringing in from the past. There's that isolation. Isolation is in my head now, which is a song called Wave by the musician Beck. Okay, we have the Nine of Wands and we have the Knight of Emotions, or the Knight of Cups. So we do see the underlying energy of the week, the Hermit energy. The reason why we're seeing this coming up is because feminine energy is still carrying in this Nine of Wands, which is an energy of being very exhausted, needing to go in and isolate yourself to heal from having been a victim in the past. It is putting up walls, and really, I think, still being a little bit fearful of fully allowing yourself to just follow your emotions, to follow your heart, to be open to the expression of love. One of the things I always think about in this card is, you see these two figures here in the back. Do you remember the Never Ending Story film where he has to cross through the sphinxes in order to get to the Empress? So there's this, and he watches the warrior do this, and the warrior gets like laser-eyed to death, like as he walks past the sphinxes. So I don't know why I'm thinking of that. Other than that, I do feel that the feminine energy may have withdrawn, or maybe. So I do. Okay. I do think that the feminine energy opened herself up more to receive. And then she has this image of herself getting burned as she crosses the threshold from this place of isolation into this place of connecting more, doing something that's more in alignment with what she loves to do, being with someone that's more in alignment with who she loves. She fears crossing that threshold, that she will be burned again, that she will not make it past that point. And so that's kind of caused her to go into isolation. And I do feel feelings of exhaustion. So the best way that I could illustrate this is in my own experience. I decided to make a gesture so that the person that I have been focused on would know that I'm still open to communication and that I still have feelings of love and would really like to explore that connection because we've never had a chance. And as soon as I opened up the floodgates, I was burned. Like, I was burned. I definitely was. I hit that wall, that cycle of, here I am, and the other person being like, cool, peace out, and not being willing to still communicate. And I do think that that person has like a plan or a strategy or whatever, but their plan or strategy is bullshit, because all they would have to do is talk to me, and that for some reason is not possible for them. So all of the machinations that they're doing in their headspace here with this Queen of Swords energy and this Two of Wands is futile, right? Because they can set up all of the pieces on the chessboard, but if they never invite me to play the game, then they can never win against me, right? They will really only just be playing themselves. And so that's kind of what happened. So my instinct, as soon as I was like, oh, this still hasn't changed, this person still wants to communicate in this vague way, and they don't want to actually confirm or have a conversation about their feelings. They just want to imply their feelings and feel that I am there, and that makes them feel safe and that makes them feel comfortable. But the way that it makes me feel is incredibly insecure. Even though my attachment style is definitely more secured, it just makes me feel like I am repeating patterns of the past, and I don't really want to do that. So I guess it's best for me to just pull back, which really makes the tracks that came this morning having no lyrics make a lot of sense. It's like, if you're not talking, then I'm not talking. Okay? We're like back at this place. You know, if it's not going to be, I'm talking, I'm telling you how I feel, I'm directly communicating to you, and you're not doing that for me, like, that just doesn't work, no matter how many times you do it. So, so let's look at what we're bringing in from the past on the surface level. So that's all the deep underlying stuff. What's coming from the past on the surface level? For love, we have a ticking clock. Ooh, I can hear it. Tick, tock, tick, tock. Need time, takes time, in time, cycles, time to heal, progress. So we are seeing progress, but we're bringing in that energy of this still needs time. There's still healing that needs to take place. That's the mindset you're still carrying in regards to love. So because you are still trying to intellectualize your feelings rather than feel your feelings because you fear them, and isolate yourself from the experience of those feelings, you're still in this headspace of, this is still, there still needs to be time. Like, I still need more time. For money, we're getting a reversal on the house card, which is showing me again that you definitely still are carrying in an energy of feeling insecure. I am literally not able to provide shelter for myself. I have to live at my parents' house. I am not seeing an increase in my income that's large enough for me to compensate for the debt I have now against my car. And so I'm kind of stuck in this place of homelessness and insecurity and needing to depend and rely on others. So I have, that makes me feel bad about myself and confused. And so I'm carrying that, and I'm feeling emotion coming up now too, because there is this feeling I'm getting, especially from the Nine of Wands, which is like, I'm so tired of this. When will this end? Okay? That's the feeling that's coming through. All right, now let's take a look at the current energy. Masculine energy, still overthinking here. Boom. Current energy, we have the Seven of Wands and the Princess, or the Page of Wands. The Seven of Wands is covering up this Page of Wands. Now, we cannot get rid of the Page of Wands. I don't think I've done a single reading in the last 3 weeks that hasn't had the Page of Wands in it. It's crazy. The amount of times I've seen this card is like insane. And the Page of Wands is about initiating a conversation, starting a conversation. It's about a spark. It's about adventure, exploration, but getting started. The Seven of Wands is a feeling of standing your ground, fighting for what you believe in. It can also, in its shadow, be about fighting off your success, because you're fighting Six Wands here, which is the Six of Wands is like victory, success, and you're holding on to this very strong desire that you have. And you have this illusion that all of these things are against you, working against you, but what you don't see is that there's no one actually holding these wands. These wands are an illusion. They're all ideas, as wands are. Swords are thoughts and wands are ideas. And your idea of success is almost something that you are fighting against with whatever desire that you're holding on to. We do know that this desire is coming from this Page of Wands here. So it's like, I couldn't get rid of the Page of Wands. There is, you desire so much for to start something, to just get started doing something, but you're like standing there not starting. And it is an unconscious behavior. It is definitely something that's coming from the subconscious. It probably makes you feel confused, and you're like, I really want this thing. Why am I not just starting it, And I have so many things where I could apply that right now. That makes a lot of sense. So that's the current energy. But it is also about really fighting off your tendency to block your own success and just get started. So it could go either way. You could sit in a space this week of being like, I don't know why I'm not just starting. I guess it's because I still need to heal. And, I still don't have the stability. And so I can't start doing what it is that I want. You can approach this week like that. Or you can approach this week as, it's time for me to start. It's time for me to stop blocking myself from success and just get started. Even if I don't know exactly where to go or how to do it, because I'm a page and I've never really done this before, I still need to just do it. I need to embrace that it's the adventure itself that I'm after and not the end goal, unfortunately, which we always think. Here's how you can prove to yourself that what you desire is not about the actual outcome that you're seeking. If you've ever watched a movie before, have you ever in your entire life taken your remote control and fast forwarded all the way to the end credits so that you could just hold your popcorn and just eat the popcorn while you're watching all the names roll up and just be like, wow, great movie. These people were so talented that put all of their time and effort and energy into this movie. It's so amazing how it all came together, and it's just an incredible, incredible feat. Is that how you watch movies? Do you take a book? Do you turn all the way to the last chapter of the book, read the last chapter and go, wow, that was a fantastic book. I just can't believe how that last chapter just brought everything all together and it made it so interesting for me. Oh, you don't do that? Okay. I don't do that either. Nobody does that. You sit down at the beginning of a movie with your popcorn and you watch the movie from the beginning to end, and it's not the end of the movie that makes the beginning necessarily worthwhile. Sometimes the end of the movie can make the whole movie sort of disappointing. Sometimes you're like, oh my God, that movie was so good until the end. That always happens in horror movies. You're like, oh my God, it was so scary. And then they showed the creature in the end and you're like, okay, well, that's stupid. Okay? So a lot of times what you find out is that while the movie itself might have been entertaining, the end of it wasn't even that great. And then you might think, well, I guess I wasted my time watching the movie. But did you? Because your experience was a whole experience. It wasn't just that last moment. It was like everything that led up to it. And maybe it was really annoying stuff and you didn't even like it. And so the whole thing was crappy. Okay? But you still wouldn't have known that if you didn't start at the beginning and watch all the way to the end. So I do think there is this feeling here of never starting this journey because all you're thinking about is the outcome, and you're not aware that the pleasure that is here for you in the moment is to actually just be on the journey. There's so much thinking about the journey instead of being on it, being present on it, doing it, actually doing it. Just thinking about it is not doing it. Sorry. Just making plans is not actually doing a thing. Divine Feminine, what is your current energy? We have this Queen of Swords. So, Divine Masculine, look at that. Want to see manifestation? Here you go. Here's what I'm worried about. I'm worried that this person might still need time, that this person might still be angry, that this person might still, hold what happened against me, that they might be critical, that they might be harsh, that they might be judgmental. Okay? This person might still be in that energy. And then what happens? This person delivers. If you're concerned, if you're worried about this, then you get this. That's just how it works. That's how it works. So the feminine energy, because she has had so many experiences of wanting to start this conversation and being blocked every time. Look at how she's being blocked here. Let's talk. Masculine energy is like, no, not yet. I'm thinking too much. I'm thinking too much about what I'm going to say. I'm planning and strategizing for this great ending that we're having. I'm skipping the entire movie trying to get to the credits, thinking I don't want to watch the entire movie. And so I can't be bothered. And so Divine Feminine is like, okay, well, I've had this experience with you in the past. And so I'm going to put up some boundaries because I don't want to be in a situation where I want to have a conversation with somebody and they block me from every direction. This is also in terms of your work and career. You're mentally blocking yourself from starting because your heart is afraid that you are going to regress, I'm hearing, back into fear so that you won't actually be able to honor what your heart desires. You're going to give into the ego's fear of, what if it's not good enough? What if they don't like it? What if nothing happens? What if? That's literally where your mind is going. And your heart is afraid that you're going to take whatever really beautiful thing that you have discovered within yourself, creativity, whatever it is, and just block it because you're going to think too much about it. So the energy of this week is really understanding that if you are worried about something and focusing on it, You create that feeling within you, which causes you to take this position against what it is you want. It's when you think about what you don't want instead of thinking about what you do want. It's 1221 when I'm saying that. What does this mean, surface level energy, in terms of love and money? Here we go. Heartbreak, pain, separation, deception, shocking, attack, stabbed in the back. Okay? This means that you are going to be focusing mentally on your heartbreak and pain of the cycle that you're in with the person who's blocking this initiating of communication. Or you're going to feel that you are betraying yourself by your choices, because you're continuing to fight off your own success and choosing to do something that's not going to help you, something that's going to like keep you in debt longer or keep you from doing that job that you really want to do. So surface level, you really are still feeling heartbroken and betrayed by this person in your life, their behavior, the fact that they're taking so much time, and that they haven't really done anything to fix that or apologize for it in any real way. It's feeling like a betrayal in love again this week. So how is this happening in money? In money, I'm seeing an improvement here. Love, I'm still seeing there's a little too much focus on the pain, on how it feels to be ignored, rejected, abandoned, whatever. There's a little too much focus there. For money, though, I'm seeing fresh energy or a fresh outlook coming in. Being able and willing to do something new. And with this clever strategizing energy of the Queen of Swords, because she's very, very brilliant at strategy, feeling like you are able to come up with a plan to do something new that will change your finances. So I am picking up that this week might be a week for you that if you've been overly focused on love and connection, you may be starting to focus more on money and stability and your career. And that's actually helping to balance the scales. Like maybe you have been putting way too much focus for the last couple of weeks on relationship and connection, finding that there's still time for healing there, and it's still not quite an alignment, and feeling a little bit heartbroken about that because you thought that things were changed, but separation is still really being emphasized here in this current energy. And so you're like, okay, well, I can't focus on that. I need to focus on my stability then and get into a place where I feel I can have this fresh outlook or a fresh source of income, something like that. Okay. Now let's take a look at where this is all going to go. If you don't like what I've been talking about, like if you don't like that you're thinking about, oh, it's still going to take time, we still have to take time healing. If you don't like that you're having this feeling of heartbreak and pain and focusing on the separation and just not feeling good about it, you don't have to keep doing that. This reading is not a reading where I'm saying this is what's happening and there's nothing you can do about it. The whole purpose of my divination is that I show you what the energy is like right now, and I give you advice on how to shift it. But if you don't do anything, if you don't change anything, if you haven't really learned anything from this reading, which I'm assuming we're 33 minutes in, you've already learned something from this reading, then this is where you will be headed. So let's look at the outcome and see if we like it. If we don't like it, let's shift it. Okay. So where's masculine energy heading then? Well, looky. This is the Queen of Wands. This is a much different energy than the Queen of Swords. This is warm, attractive, magnetic, powerful, confident, visionary energy. So the mind is moving into this place of feeling more confident about your feelings, of thinking more confidently about your feelings, I guess we should say. And it's also the mind being really, really attracted to whatever creative ideas that you have that are springing to your mind right now. Very, very, very powerful, passionate energy in the mind. Where is this in the heart space? Wow. So we have the Ace of Cups, the Ace of Emotions. This can be about new love, an offer of love. This can be about filling your own cup from the source, which is like the source of inspiration. It can be about I guess we could say self-care and self-love, but I'm feeling that what we're getting here is this realization that's coming through with the Queen of Swords and that Hermit energy, which has allowed you to start to feel into what really feels good to you. This is really about understanding how to make yourself feel confident and good. And when we are in that energy of feeling confident and good things come to us. So let's see what that means in terms of surface level energy for romantic connection. Ooh, look at that. The butterfly. Now, this is much more in alignment with the Six of Swords because this says relationship evolving to the next phase, healing the inner child, and growth. So this week we're going to see some growth in regards to some of the sticky energy that we've experienced. So that needing time and taking time and the heartbreak and pain, it's bringing about an evolution in our connection with another person romantically. This can mean that where you've been in separation and a heartbreak and pain, and that's what your current energy has felt like, it's shifting now and transforming to something more with this Ace of Cups. I would guess an actual offer of love, or an openness to receive one, because maybe you've been closed off from receiving love because of the fears you've had of what happened to you in the past. Money, in terms of money, surface level energy regarding money, where is this going? We have the Moon card, which is for me a card about fantasies and dreams. I'm hearing big dreams, and the stork into the moon is showing me that because this is new and you're kind of experiencing something you've never experienced before, it can be a little overwhelming, a little bit frightening. It's requiring you to really tune into your heart, which you know is offering a lot of love right now for you and for others in general. I think it's a little bit of a mystery where money is going to go for you this week, because it's so new for you to get into whatever positive feelings you have about money. I don't think it's been easy for you to do that in the past. And so the cards are telling me it's a little hard to say exactly where this is going to go for you, because this is entirely new territory. So if you've been completely broke, this is having a certain amount of money that you're almost a little afraid to spend because you're not sure what to do with this level of security. Remember, you're bringing in a sense of insecurity. So if you start to receive new money, or you have a new opportunity that results in a lot of money flowing in, because we see this ocean, this water here flowing in, then that can be a little bit overwhelming, a little bit frightening. It also might mean that you just feel like it's like you've gone to the moon, like you're absolutely receiving amounts of money that's like beyond your imagination almost. Let's get your spirit oracle that's going to help you this week. We have Owl Spirit. You see clearly now. That is something else that I should have mentioned with the Queen of Swords. She's able to see things very clearly. She has discernment and she understands. She is actually an incredibly compassionate queen because she has the ability to understand, to be so understanding. Although we don't look at her as compassionate, she has the ability to be deeply compassionate. 43 is how old I'm going to be on July 31st. If you want to send me a gift, there are places to send me decks, and you can send me things I need for my household and donations at the link in my profile. Owl Spirit says, arrives to remind you that the wisdom within you is informed by your keen senses and the wisdom within the consciousness we all share. Even in the darkest night, the owl sees clearly and is guided by every sense it has, including the first sense of intuition. Right now, your sensitivities are turbocharged, and you are receiving messages from all directions. Owl Spirit reminds you to be wise and pay attention to what's between the lines, what is invisible to the naked eye, what cannot be heard with the ears, and what others may not be able to perceive. With all your senses aroused, you have much knowledge available to you. Clarity will come as you sit with all that you are sensing, allowing your intuition to guide you in understanding the whole and not just the parts. Let your wisdom arise and be your guide as you trust the acuity of all your senses. Intuition is real and can provide the clarity you need to understand your situation right now. Your relationship, your finances, your job. Whatever it is, you can see the truth clearly now. I will say that when this energy visits, sometimes the truth hurts, okay? It's not necessarily we see the truth and, we just feel super great. Sometimes when we see the truth with that heartbreak and pain card and the current energy, it kind of hurts. Like if I look at the truth of how I have handled my money and finances and just look and see like, wow, I'm incredibly avoidant. And my avoidant behavior has really caused more struggle. And in order to overcome that, I have to get over a lot of fear, because fear is the only thing that's causing me to avoid this situation, to avoid fixing it. And that can be true in love and relationships as well. We are getting this card that is telling us to take a break, a life's work, not a season, and get off the treadmill. And I think that's very important, because this is giving me a feeling of like constantly going back and forth and being stuck in a loop. I keep hearing Elvis, Suspicious Minds. I've been hearing that song since yesterday. It's now back in my head again. Caught in a loop. I just heard like caught in a loop, even though I don't think that's that. It's like caught in a lie, isn't it? So I just think it's interesting. I keep hearing that song. You might want to go look at the lyrics to that song. Take a break. I don't know if this is an activation card. Yes, it is an action card, 82. It's okay to take a break and enjoy your creations, to take a moment from your busy schedule, to get off the treadmill of life, to appreciate and acknowledge all that you have created, achieved, released, or experienced before rushing on to the next thing, to be in the moment and enjoy where you are, to take a breath and regather your mind, body, and spirit, to recalibrate, appreciate, and celebrate, to decide on what you really want to experience next. If you take a moment, you are not going to miss out. Perhaps you've just completed a big project, manifested something significant in your life, released an old way of being, or just you've been burning the candle at both ends. Now is the time to take some time out before rushing on to the next thing. You did it. Enjoy yourself and recalibrate. Go on vacation, book a massage, take long walks in nature, go away for a rejuvenating weekend to recharge and replenish. Your work, your light action is to take a break and a breath. So take a break from the overthinking, the strategizing. Take a break from that mental chatter. The best way to take a break from mental chatter for me is it's 1, 2, 3, 4 on the clock, is to play The Sims, read a book, watch a movie that's really fun, spend time with my dog Bowie, who I don't know where she is right now. Oh, she's over there. Can you see her? She's blending into the bed over there. Or my dog Spike. We have 2 dogs here, I just love dogs. Spend time with them. Just do something that is not going to be you sitting there trying to figure something out. Another thing that's coming to mind is just to sit in that hermit energy and receive your guidance. Know that you don't have to really think a lot. You might just get an image, a mental image or a picture, a word or a phrase, and just let that word, phrase, mental image, or picture lead you to where you need to go next. Now, I'm really thinking that the take a walk part of the take a break was important, because it said take a long walk in nature, because your self-care activity for this week is to take a walk, number 52. I 100% am likely not going to do this. Just going to put it out there. It is hot as fuck, and I just don't feel like going outside taking a walk. So I'm going to find a way to take a walk that is air conditioned. Maybe I'll go to a mall or something and walk around a mall, but walking around outside in nature right now does not seem cute. But maybe the weather will improve a little bit. If it does, I'm there. But right now it is like humid and gross, and this bitch is not doing that. Your mantra is, with each step forward, I release what no longer serves me. Experience a moving meditation and nourish your mind, body, and spirit simultaneously by carving out time to go on a walk. Commit to making a week-long routine where you go on one each day, even if it is only for a short time. Journal about how this time makes you feel and the revelations that come during your walks. Soon you'll see how much balance and joy they bring to your day. Get out into nature, be physically active, meditate, and be in awe of Mama Nature's beauty all at once. To keep things interesting, find somewhere local that you haven't been to before and would like to explore, like a park, trail, or botanical garden. Schedule a walking date with a loved one for something different to do together. Your journal prompt is: what sights, sounds, and smells do you notice when you go for walks, and how do these things make you feel? So, I literally cannot do this. I actually have improved my health. I had some issues with my joints and I was having trouble with walking, and now I can kind of walk comfortably. I don't get as physically uncomfortable or have as much pain as I did just a couple of months ago. But the heat, it's the heat. So I'm going to have to find a way to do this that's not going to be hot, because I just don't. That's just not going to make me feel good. I will not enjoy that. But I will figure that out. And it can be a short walk too, it said. It said that you can take a short walk. But the idea is that you're making progress, that you're taking steps forward. We saw that in the clock with the progress. We saw that in the Six of Swords energy. And I'm also seeing an image of you walking away from things that are not serving you, and sort of taking a metaphysical walk away from somebody. This literally is take a break, take a walk. And I told you, there's so much overthinking going on that I feel like you're starting to think whatever it is that I think something started to shift or move in your direction. And then you started to let yourself think about, how am I going to sustain this? How is this going to pan out? What's going to happen? Give it a rest. Give it a rest. It's like somebody gives you a gift and you analyze whether you're going to actually be able to take care of it instead of just appreciating it. So take that break from thinking so much about whatever this is. Refocus your energy, recharge. Focus more on money if you've been focusing on relationships. Focus on relationships if you've been focusing on money. But just make a change from what you're currently thinking about. Because I don't know if you've noticed, but is that working? Thinking about it over and over? You seeing any progress? Are you getting that phone call that you've been thinking about? Are you getting... No? Why does that happen? Well, it's because while you're thinking about... Picture a train, okay? Picture a train. Here's an engine. It's going in this direction, right? Here's a train going in this direction. While you're thinking about, oh, I want this to happen. This is so good. This is so amazing. You're also triggering the part of you that doubts it. So you have two train engines. One's moving this way. One's moving that way. Is the train moving? No, it's not. They're both pulling, and there's no movement. So stop thinking about what you want for a second. Because you're not actually thinking about what you want. You're thinking about what you want and whether or not you can have it at the same time. And it's causing the whole process to stall out. I hope this reading has really helped you today. Please, again, go and send donations, book readings. I'm literally having to beg all the time. I hate this feeling. Please help this feeling to go away. Just make it a routine thing that if you are consistently benefiting from these readings, that you are consistently contributing to my channel in some way. One of the best ways is to just become a member for $15 a month. If 100 people did that, I would be good. I'd be able to pay for my car payment, a little bit of gas, a little bit of food. I wouldn't be able to get an apartment yet because, it's crazy out here. But I'd be able to pay for my car. And it would only take 100 of you to make that happen. And right now I have only a handful of people that are donating consistently. So please, if you really do benefit from these readings on a daily basis, make sure that you are ensuring that I can stay in this game. If you are financially struggling as much as I am, I understand that. There are many ways to help me without spending any money. But consistently saving, sharing, commenting, liking, those are the things that are going to help boost my channel to get it to people who are more financially comfortable so that they can assist me to be more financially comfortable, because we need to help each other out. Thank you so very much. I will see you all probably on Wednesday, where we will maybe do the Tell Me Everything reading or a junk food reading. If not Wednesday, Thursday, and for sure Friday's love reading. And then, of course, next week again for Sunday's week ahead reading. Make sure you go look at all the other readings if you've missed them. There's hundreds and hundreds on my Tuned In Tarot YouTube channel, as well as many readings on my TikTok, Tuned In Tarot TikTok as well. Thanks again, and have a glorious week. Take care.